The quantum display shimmered with complex waveforms as Dr. Sarah Chen studied the latest test results. The vast laboratory complex beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with energy as sophisticated equipment analyzed patterns that defied conventional physics. Sarah brushed a strand of graying hair from her face, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic data streams floating before her. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this." Dr. Marcus Rivera, her chief theoretical physicist, called from across the lab. His usually steady voice carried an edge of excitement that made Sarah look up immediately. The quantum resonance chamber they'd been experimenting with for the past 3 years was displaying something unprecedented. The crystalline structure at its core, engineered atom by atom, wasn't just channeling energy, it was harmonizing with it in ways their equations hadn't predicted. The quantum fields, Marcus explained, pulling up multiple data streams, they're not just flowing through the crystal matrix. They're singing to each other. Sarah studied the readings, her heart racing. The quantum particles were indeed behaving like a cosmic orchestra, creating patterns that resembled music more than physics. It was beautiful, elegant, and completely impossible according to every textbook ever written. "How stable is it?" she asked, already calculating the implications. "That's the incredible part," Marcus replied, bringing up the stability graphs. "The more complex the harmony becomes, the more stable the entire system gets. It's like the quantum fields are finding their natural rhythm." Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. For 3 years, the International Defense Initiative had tasked her team with developing new approaches to spacecraft propulsion and defense. The alien signal detected by the Deep Space Array 6 months ago had lit a fire under every major research project on Earth. Whatever was out there, it was heading their way, and conventional technology wouldn't be enough to face it. "Dr. Chen," a soft voice emanated from the lab's AI interface, "I've completed the extrapolation you requested. Would you like to see the scaled-up simulation?" "Yes, please display." The air above the central platform filled with a holographic representation of their quantum resonance technology applied to a full-scale spacecraft. The design was unlike anything humanity had built before. Smooth, organic curves interwoven with crystalline structures that would channel and amplify the quantum harmonies they'd discovered. "It's not just a ship," Sarah whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "It's an instrument." The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. As Sarah's team refined their breakthrough, the alien signal grew stronger. Analysis suggested multiple objects, moving with purpose and precision through the outer solar system. The world's governments had managed to keep the information contained so far, but panic would soon follow once the truth became public. Sarah stood before the World Defense Council, her presentation ready. The chamber was filled with military leaders, scientists, and politicians from every major nation. The tension in the room was palpable. "Distinguished members of the Council," she began, "what we're proposing isn't just an advancement in space technology. It's a fundamental shift in how we interact with the fabric of reality itself." The holographic display came to life, showing their prototype design. "We've discovered that quantum fields can be harmonized, like notes in a symphony. When properly tuned, these harmonies create effects that violate what we thought were the fundamental laws of physics." She demonstrated simulations of their quantum resonance technology in action. The ship's crystalline structures channeled energy in ways that defied conventional understanding, creating shields that didn't just block attacks, but absorbed and redirected their energy. "The aliens, whoever they are, will expect us to fight with brute force," Sarah continued. "They'll expect missiles, energy weapons, conventional shields. Instead, we'll present them with something they cannot predict. A ship that dances with the quantum fabric of space itself." Admiral Helena Torres, the Council's military chair, leaned forward. "How confident are you in these theories, Dr. Chen?" "We're betting humanity's survival on this." Sarah met the Admiral's gaze steadily. "We've moved beyond theories, Admiral. The prototype quantum core is already operational at our facility. We simply need to scale it up. The council chamber erupted in murmured discussions. Sarah knew what they were thinking. Her design was too radical, too different from everything humanity had built before. But as images from the deep space array showed the alien fleet growing closer each day, different was exactly what they needed. How long? Admiral Torres asked, silencing the chamber. 6 months to complete the first ship, Sarah replied. We've already begun manufacturing the crystalline matrices. The Admiral nodded slowly, her expression grave. The latest projections show our visitors arriving in 8 months. Build your ship, Dr. Chen. Make it everything you promise it can be. Because, if you're wrong, there won't be a second chance. As Sarah left the council chamber, her tablet chimed with an urgent message from Marcus. The quantum harmonics lab had detected something new. The crystal matrix was developing unexpected complexities, creating patterns that looked almost like neural pathways. Their instrument, it seemed, was learning to play itself. Sarah smiled as she headed for the shuttle that would take her back to the Atacama facility. Humanity had always survived by thinking differently, by finding solutions where others saw only problems. As she watched the sunset paint the sky in brilliant colors, she knew their greatest test was approaching. The aliens, whoever they were, expected to find a primitive species clinging to conventional physics and predictable tactics. Instead, they would encounter humanity's greatest creation, a ship that turned space itself into a symphony of quantum harmonies. The real question was, would they be ready in time? The first message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. 3 months into the harmonious construction, Sarah was reviewing the latest quantum resonance tests when Aria's voice filled the command center with unusual urgency. Dr. Chen, we're receiving a transmission. The signal origin matches the approaching fleet. The message was elegant in its simplicity, broadcast on multiple frequencies in mathematical sequences that left no doubt about its artificial origin. Your species has been evaluated. Your presence is disruptive to galactic harmony. Prepare for resolution. Sarah stood before the massive observation window of the underground facility, watching as construction drones swarmed around Harmonia's crystalline hull. The ship was taking shape faster than anyone had expected, its quantum core exhibiting properties that both thrilled and concerned her team. They're accelerating, Marcus announced, entering the command center with fresh data from the deep space array. The Nexari fleet, that's what they're calling themselves, will reach Earth in 3 months, not 5. Sarah's hands tightened on the railing. Show me. The holographic display revealed hundreds of ships moving with precise coordination. Their vessels were perfect spheres of what appeared to be solid darkness, absorbing all light that touched them. Preliminary analysis suggested they manipulated gravity itself as both weapon and propulsion. How close is Harmonia to completion? Admiral Torres asked through her secure channel from World Defense Command. Sarah checked the latest progress reports. Hull integration is at 87%. The quantum core is stable, but she hesitated. But what, Doctor? It's evolving. The crystalline matrix is forming new connections every day, creating patterns we didn't design. Aria says the quantum harmonics are approaching consciousness. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. Is it dangerous? No, Sarah replied firmly. If anything, it's trying to help. The core has been offering improvements to its own systems, optimizing the quantum harmonies in ways we hadn't considered. As if in response to her words, the quantum core pulsed with a soft, musical resonance that echoed through the facility. The sound was beautiful but alien, like a whale song played through crystalline waves. Dr. Chen, ARIA interrupted. I'm detecting unusual activity in the core. It appears to be responding to the Nexari transmission. Sarah rushed to the quantum lab, Marcus close behind. The crystalline matrix at Harmonia's heart was vibrating with new frequencies, its quantum fields weaving patterns that mirrored the mathematical structure of the alien message. It's not just responding, Marcus whispered, studying the data. It's composing the counter-harmony. Before they could investigate further, The facility's alerts blared to life. A small Nexari vessel had broken formation with the main fleet, accelerating toward Earth at impossible speeds. First contact would come much sooner than anyone had planned. The next week was chaos. The Nexari scout ship took position in high Earth orbit, its presence impossible to hide from the public. Global panic ensued, tempered only by the relative calm of the vessel's continued inaction. Then came the second message. Your quantum experiments are noted. They are crude, disruptive. You force evolution unnaturally. This cannot continue. Sarah worked around the clock, pushing harmonious completion ahead of schedule. The quantum core grew more responsive each day, its harmonies more complex and beautiful. It was as if the ship was preparing itself for what was to come. They're scared, Sarah realized one night, watching the core's reactions to Nexari communications. They can sense what we're building, but they don't understand it. We're not following their rules of development. Admiral Torres arrived at the facility personally the next day, her usually stern features tight with concern. The Nexari scout is powering up what we believe to be weapons systems. We need Harmonia ready now. We can launch, Sarah said, leading the Admiral through the crystalline corridors of the nearly completed ship. The core is stable. The quantum harmonics are functioning beyond our expectations, but we haven't tested the defensive systems in real combat conditions. The Admiral stopped, turning to face her. Doctor, in 12 hours we may not have a choice. Every simulation shows conventional weapons being useless against their gravity manipulation technology. Your ship, as unconventional as it is, might be our only chance. Sarah nodded, then touched a nearby crystal panel. The corridor filled with a soft resonance as Harmonia's systems acknowledged her presence. HFY, begin launch preparations. Alert all personnel. As the facility burst into action, Sarah made her way to the quantum core chamber. The massive crystalline structure pulsed with inner light, its harmonies forming patterns that seemed almost eager. You know what's coming, don't you? She whispered to the core. The frequencies shifted in response, creating a melody that somehow conveyed both anticipation and reassurance. Marcus found her there an hour later. Sarah, you need to see this. The Nexari scout, it's starting its attack run. In orbit above them, the dark sphere of the Nexari vessel began its descent, gravity weapons powering up to cleanse what they saw as an evolutionary mistake. They expected to find primitive humans cowering behind conventional defenses. Instead, they would meet Harmonia, humanity's quantum symphony made manifest. As Sarah took her place in the command center, she felt a strange calm. The Nexari thought they were forcing evolution unnaturally, but wasn't that humanity's greatest strength? The ability to shape their own destiny, to find new paths where others saw only established rules. The quantum core's harmonies rose to a crescendo as launch preparations completed. In less than an hour, they would know if humanity's greatest gamble would pay off, or if the Nexari's gravity weapons would silence Earth's song forever. Harmonia rose from its underground cradle on pillars of crystalline light, its hull catching the dawn's first rays. The ship's quantum harmonics sang through the structure, a melody of defiance against the approaching Nexari scout. In the command center, Sarah watched as her crew took their stations, each console pulsing with resonant energy. Nexari vessel on attack trajectory. Lieutenant Maya Patul reported from the sensor station. Their gravity weapons are fully charged. Captain David Rodriguez, chosen for his unconventional tactical thinking, settled into the command chair. Dr. Chen, is our quantum core ready for combat? Sarah checked the harmonics displays, watching the crystalline matrix pulse with increasingly complex patterns. The core is eager. HFY, status report. Quantum harmonics at optimal resonance. HFY responded. The core is generating defensive frequencies I hadn't predicted. It appears to be composing counter-harmonies to the Nexari's gravity signatures. The Nexari struck first. A lance of distorted space shot from their spherical vessel, the gravity beam intense enough to shear a conventional battleship in half. But as it approached Harmonia, something remarkable happened. The quantum core's song changed, its crystalline structures vibrating in perfect counter-harmony to the attack. The gravity beam curved around their hull, its energy dispersed into complex geometric patterns that flickered like aurora in space. Impossible. The Nexeri transmission crackled through their comms. Your technology is crude. You cannot. Return fire, Captain Rodriguez ordered. Show them what crude can do. Sarah activated the offensive harmonics. Harmonia's crystalline hull pulsed with accumulated energy, releasing it in waves that rippled through spacetime itself. The quantum frequencies targeted the Nexeri's gravity field generators, disrupting their carefully maintained equilibrium. The dark sphere of the Nexeri ship wobbled, its perfect form distorting as Harmonia's attack forced its gravity manipulation systems into chaos. Their shields are destabilizing, Maya reported, but they're adapting, changing their gravity field frequency. Core temperature rising, Marcus warned from engineering. The harmonics are pushing beyond our tested limits. Sarah watched the quantum patterns shift and flow across her displays. The core wasn't just responding to their commands anymore. It was anticipating, composing its own combat symphony. Araya, give the core more autonomy. Let it sing. The effect was immediate. Harmonia's crystalline structures began resonating in ways they'd never planned for, generating quantum harmonies that seemed to bend reality itself. The space around their ship rippled with mathematical beauty, each frequency precisely tuned to counter and disrupt the Nexeri's technology. Multiple gravity beams incoming. Maya's warning came as the Nexeri vessel launched a desperate barrage, firing from various angles simultaneously. But Harmonia was ready. The quantum core's song reached a crescendo, creating a defensive pattern that didn't just stop the attacks. It caught them, held them, and began to weave their energy into its own harmony. My God, Marcus whispered, watching the readings. The core isn't just defending anymore. It's learning their technology, incorporating their gravity manipulation into its own quantum patterns. The Nexeri must have realized what was happening. Their sphere began to retreat, its surface rippling with unstable gravity fields. Your advancement is uncontrolled. Their transmission declared, you do not follow the proper path of evolution. This violation cannot stand. Proper path. Sarah responded, her hands dancing across the quantum controls. Evolution isn't about following paths. It's about finding new ones. Harmonia, show them how humanity innovates. The quantum core pulsed with newfound power, combining its original harmonics with the analyzed Nexeri gravity technology. The result was something entirely new. A quantum gravity symphony that turned space itself into an instrument of war. Waves of distorted spacetime erupted from Harmonia's hull, each pulse precisely tuned to the weaknesses they discovered in the Nexeri design. The alien sphere tried to evade, but the attack wasn't just targeting their ship, it was rewriting the physical laws in the surrounding space. Their gravity drive is failing, Maya reported, excitement breaking through her professional demeanor. Hull integrity dropping. They're launching escape pods. The Nexeri sphere crumpled inward, its gravity manipulation systems turned against it by Harmonia's quantum harmonics. The escape pods streaked away moments before their mothership imploded, crushed by its own distorted gravity fields. Silence fell over Harmonia's command center, broken only by the gentle resonance of the quantum core's victory song. They had done it. Humanity's first true test against advanced alien technology, one not through brute force, but through innovation and understanding. Dr. Chen, Araya's voice was different somehow, more aware. The core has finished integrating the Nexeri gravity data. Our combat capabilities now exceed original specifications by 327%. Sarah smiled, watching the quantum harmonics display new patterns of unprecedented complexity. The Nexeri think we're forcing evolution, but they don't understand. Evolution isn't just about following natural paths. It's about adaptation, about finding new ways to survive and thrive. The main fleet will come now, Captain Rodriguez said, his voice grim but determined. "They won't ignore this." "Let them come," Sarah replied, feeling the quantum core's confident resonance through the ship's structure. "Harmonia is just the beginning. We'll show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to imagine new possibilities, to defy expectations, and to turn the impossible into reality." As if in agreement, the quantum core's harmonies shifted into a new composition, preparing for the greater challenge to come. The first battle was won, but the true test of humanity's innovative spirit was just beginning. In the weeks following Harmonia's victory, Earth transformed into a hive of desperate activity. The quantum harmonics technology that had seemed so experimental now represented humanity's best hope for survival. Deep in the Atacama facility, Sarah and her team worked to understand the remarkable evolution of their creation. "The core's neural pathways have doubled in complexity," Marcus announced, studying the latest scans. "It's not just learning anymore. It's creating entirely new quantum theories." Sarah watched the crystalline matrix pulse with ever-changing patterns. The quantum harmonics had evolved beyond their original design, incorporating aspects of necessary gravity manipulation into its growing understanding of space-time. Area display the core's latest theoretical calculations. The holographic display filled with equations that pushed the boundaries of known physics. The quantum core wasn't just combining human and necessary technology. It was transcending both, finding harmonies in the fundamental fabric of reality that neither civilization had fully grasped. Dr. Chen, Admiral Torres' hologram appeared in the lab. "The Deep Space Array has detected the main necessary fleet changing course. They're accelerating toward Earth, arrival estimated in 2 weeks." Sarah nodded grimly. "How many ships?" "Over 3,000. And these aren't scouts. They're warships." The quantum core's harmony shifted, resonating with what almost seemed like determination. Since the battle, the connection between ship and crew had grown stronger. Harmonia wasn't just a vessel anymore. It was becoming something more, a synthesis of human innovation and quantum consciousness. "We need more ships," Sarah said, turning to the Admiral. "The crystalline matrix manufacturing process is stable now. We can adapt what we've learned from Harmonia to create a defensive fleet. Can we build enough in 2 weeks? We don't have to build them from scratch." Sarah brought up schematics of Earth's existing space fleet. "We can modify our conventional ships with quantum harmonic generators. They won't be as advanced as Harmonia, but they'll be able to counter necessary gravity weapons." The next 14 days passed in a blur of activity. Shipyards around the world worked around the clock, installing crystalline matrices into retrofitted vessels. Each ship's quantum core was connected to Harmonia's network, allowing them to share harmonics and adapt as one. Sarah stood in Harmonia's command center, watching the defensive fleet take shape in orbit. 27 ships, each humming with quantum energy, prepared to face an enemy that outnumbered them more than 100 to 1. "The Nexari are broadcasting again," Maya reported from her station. The message filled their communications. "Your resistance is noted. Your quantum manipulation shows promise but lacks proper guidance. Submit to resolution, and selected specimens will be preserved for study." Captain Rodriguez laughed darkly. "They still think they're dealing with specimens in a lab. That's their weakness," Sarah realized. "They're so convinced of their evolutionary superiority that they can't imagine being surpassed." "Are you receiving the harmonic patterns from the fleet?" "Yes, Dr. Chen. The quantum network is synchronized. All ships are sharing harmonic data and combat algorithms. The combined computational power has increased our theoretical modeling capacity by 1,200%. The quantum core pulsed with new energy as innovations and improvements flowed through the network. Each ship's crystalline matrix learned and adapted, their harmonics weaving together into an ever more complex symphony. "They're approaching the outer system," Maya announced. "First wave of Nexari ships entering Saturn's orbit." Sarah touched the crystalline console, feeling the ship's resonance. "Show me what you've learned," she whispered to the core. the holographic display filled with new attack patterns, defensive harmonics that hadn't existed days ago. The quantum network wasn't just sharing information. It was composing a battle symphony on a scale they hadn't thought possible. All ships, battle stations, Captain Rodriguez ordered, form up on Harmonia. Let's show them how humanity innovates. The fleet moved into formation, their quantum cores singing in harmony. Above them, the first wave of the Nexari Armada appeared, thousands of dark spheres blotting out the stars. Their gravity weapons powered up, preparing to cleanse what they saw as an evolutionary dead end. But as the massive alien fleet approached, Sarah felt no fear. The quantum harmonics flowing through their ships weren't just weapons or shields. They were humanity's response to those who would limit their potential, who would deny their right to forge their own path. They think evolution follows a single path, Sarah said, watching the enemy approach. We're about to show them just how wrong they are. The quantum core's song reached a crescendo as the two fleets prepared to clash. Humanity's 27 ships, each powered by crystalline matrices that defied conventional physics, faced off against an armada that had conquered countless worlds. The Nexari expected to find primitive humans clinging to borrowed technology. Instead, they would face a species that had taken their first encounter with advanced alien science and transformed it into something entirely new. The true test of humanity's innovative spirit was about to begin, and the harmonies of battle were about to transform into a symphony of survival. The void between Earth and Mars erupted with quantum energy as two civilizations clashed in battle. Harmonia led humanity's fleet in a dance of impossible physics, their crystalline matrices singing in perfect synchronization. The Nexari's first wave struck with overwhelming force, their gravity weapons distorting space itself. But humanity was ready. The quantum network responded instantly, each ship's harmonics adapting and evolving in real time. Where the Nexari expected to find primitive defenses, they encountered a symphony of innovation that turned their own understanding of physics against them. Multiple gravity distortion fields detected, Maya reported, her hands flying across the crystalline console. They're trying to trap us in localized time dilation effects. The network is already countering, Sarah responded, watching the quantum patterns shift. Look at how the harmonics are propagating. The space around Earth's fleet rippled with mathematical beauty as their quantum cores worked in concert. Each Nexari attack was met with a counter-harmony that didn't just defend, it learned, adapted, and grew stronger. Their formations are breaking, Captain Rodriguez announced. They didn't expect us to be able to coordinate on this level. The quantum network had evolved beyond anything they'd imagined. Every engagement, every exchange of energy, added to its understanding. The crystalline matrices weren't just processing data, they were composing a new theory of physics in real time. Incoming transmission from the Nexari command sphere, Araya announced. They're requesting dialogue. The alien commander's voice filled their communications, carrying a note of confusion that bordered on fear. Your quantum manipulation exceeds all projected models. This development was deemed impossible without centuries of guided evolution. That's humanity's greatest strength, Sarah replied, her hands steady on the controls. We don't wait for evolution. We shape it. We find new paths where others see only walls. Your species advances too rapidly, too chaotically. You do not follow the natural order. The quantum core pulsed with what felt like amusement. Through their network, Sarah could sense similar responses from the other ships. Their technology had evolved beyond mere tools, becoming a bridge between human intuition and the fundamental forces of reality. Natural order, Sarah challenged. Nature isn't about following predetermined paths. It's about adaptation, about finding new ways to survive and thrive. Humanity isn't defying nature. We're embracing its most fundamental principle, change. The Nexari response was immediate and violent. Thousands of gravity weapons fired simultaneously, attempting to crush Earth's fleet in a web of distorted space. But the quantum network had anticipated this, had composed counter-harmonies for this very moment. Harmonia led the response, its crystalline hull blazing with accumulated energy. The quantum cores of all 27 ships synchronized, their harmonics weaving together into something entirely new. Space itself seemed to sing as human innovation clashed with alien power. "The network is reaching critical resonance," Marcus warned from engineering. "The cores are pushing into theoretical spaces we barely understand." "Let them push," Sarah commanded. "Ariad, give the network full autonomy. Let the symphony play out." What followed defied description. The quantum harmonics transcended their original purpose, creating effects that rewrote the local laws of physics. Nexari gravity weapons found their energy redirected through dimensional frequencies they hadn't known existed. Their perfect spheres began to crack as reality itself rejected their presence. "They're retreating," Maya announced, wonder in her voice. "The entire fleet is falling back." But the quantum network wasn't finished. As the Nexari ships attempted to flee, they found themselves caught in a web of harmonized space-time. Their gravity drives failed as the very forces they had tried to master turned against them. "Your species must be contained," the Nexari commander transmitted desperately. "You advance too quickly, too unpredictably. You cannot be allowed to spread through the galaxy." Sarah watched as the massive alien fleet struggled against the quantum harmonics that now permeated the space around Earth. "You still don't understand. Humanity doesn't ask for permission to grow, to innovate, to survive. We don't follow paths. We forge them." The final battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the once mighty Nexari Armada was in ruins, their surviving ships fleeing through paths of broken space. Earth's fleet remained in formation, their quantum cores humming with power that humanity was only beginning to understand. In Harmonia's command center, Sarah stood before the main viewing crystal, watching the last Nexari ships vanish into the void. The quantum core's harmonies had shifted from battle songs to something softer, almost contemplative. "They'll be back," Captain Rodriguez said quietly. "Maybe not the Nexari, but others who think they can contain us, control us, define our path of evolution." "Let them come," Sarah replied, feeling the resonance of the quantum network flowing through the ship. "Humanity has always faced those who would limit us, who would tell us what's possible and what isn't, and we've always proved them wrong." The crystalline matrix pulsed with new patterns, already incorporating the knowledge gained from the battle. Their victory hadn't just saved Earth. It had opened doors to understanding that would transform human civilization. "We've received messages from every major research center on Earth," Marcus reported. "They're already adapting our quantum harmonics technology for peaceful applications, medical treatment, space exploration, energy production." Sarah smiled, watching the patterns of possibility dance across her displays. The Nexari had tried to enforce their vision of proper evolution, never understanding that true evolution wasn't about following a predetermined path. It was about imagination, adaptation, and the courage to reach beyond the seemingly impossible. As Harmonia led the fleet back to Earth, its quantum core singing with newfound knowledge, Sarah knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had proven that their greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their weapons, but in their unshakable determination to forge their own destiny. The stars beckoned, and humanity's symphony was just beginning to play.